The atmosphere inside London's O2 Arena shifts the moment Anthony Joshua steps into view. It's not just noise, it's tension, thick and electric, humming through the rafters as thousands rise to their feet. This is familiar ground for Joshua, but tonight it feels different. The applause carries hope, doubt, belief, and fear all at once. Once the golden face of British boxing, the unified heavyweight champion who carried arenas on his shoulders, Joshua now walks with something heavier than belts ever were: uncertainty. 2 consecutive defeats to Oleksandr Usyk linger in the air, whispers of decline following him down the aisle. For the first time in his career, retirement talk circles his name if this night goes wrong. Across the ring stands Jermaine Franklin, the 989 assassin from Michigan, a man with nothing to lose and everything to gain. He's already proven his toughness against Dillian Whyte, and he's here to test Joshua's resolve, not just his chin. The introductions echo, and the crowd roars as Joshua's name is called, but beneath the cheers is a collective question. Which Anthony Joshua are we about to see? The bell rings, and from the opening moments, Joshua establishes his presence with a heavy, authoritative jab. Sharp, deliberate, purposeful. Franklin listens, reads, slips, showing clever evasive movement, ducking under right hands and refusing to be overwhelmed by the moment. Joshua, heavier than ever at 250 pounds, looks composed but cautious, aware that every move is under a microscope. Early combinations flow: jab, right hand, step out, drawing applause, yet the sense of jeopardy remains. This is not a coronation, it's a trial. Each exchange carries meaning, each punch a message. Joshua isn't just fighting Franklin. He's fighting doubt, criticism, and the ghost of who he used to be. As the rounds begin to stack up, Joshua settles into rhythm, guided by a new voice in his corner, Derrick James, asking for patience, subtle movement, small adjustments. The jab becomes the centerpiece of his performance, snapping out again and again, touching Franklin's guard, chest, and face. It's not reckless power, it's controlled authority. Franklin remains ambitious, slipping inside, occasionally firing back with sharp right hands that remind everyone Joshua cannot afford complacency. The crowd reacts to every clean connection, gasping when Franklin lands, roaring when Joshua answers. Mid-rounds reveal a fighter rebuilding himself in real time. Joshua feints, draws reactions, steps to the right to avoid counters, and begins to vary his attack. Body shots thudding into Franklin's ribs, left hooks grazing the guard, right hands landing just shy or flush enough to command respect. There's no all-out assault, no desperate push for a knockout. Instead, this is a measured reclaiming of identity. Franklin shows durability, staying present, refusing to fade, even finding moments to work inside, where Joshua once struggled against shorter pressure fighters. But Joshua responds with composure, tying up when needed, resetting, never panicking. The variety in his offense grows. Uppercuts sneak through, jabs double and triple, combinations flow with purpose rather than fury. Analysts at ringside tally rounds slipping steadily into Joshua's column. The narrative becomes clear. This isn't about spectacle, it's about stability. Yet the tension never fully leaves. Every time Franklin launches forward, every time he dips low looking for that overhand right, memories of past upsets flicker in the crowd's mind. And still, he remains disciplined, building a quiet dominance round by round, proving he can control a fight without losing himself to emotion. By the championship rounds, fatigue settles in, sweat glistening under the lights as both men dig deep. Franklin understands the situation. On the cards, he's behind. To win, he needs something dramatic. He presses forward with urgency, throwing caution aside, firing hooks and right hands with renewed intent. One big shot nearly sneaks through, drawing a collective gasp from the arena, a reminder that danger still lurks. Joshua responds not with panic, but with precision. He answers with crisp jabs, clean straight rights, and a renewed bounce in his step, briefly rediscovering the fluidity that once made him unstoppable. The crowd senses it, rising again as Joshua strings together combinations: uppercut, straight right, left hook, forcing Franklin backward. Still, the knockout never quite arrives. Instead, what unfolds is a mental battle. Joshua resists the urge to overcommit, resisting the voices demanding a finish. He controls distance, smothers Franklin's inside work, and punishes him when openings appear. The final rounds are tense, bruising, honest heavyweight boxing. Both men show respect, grit, and exhaustion, trading shots under the shadow of the final bell. Franklin continues to push, earning credit for heart and durability, but Joshua's cleaner, more consistent work keeps him firmly in control. As the 12th round ticks away, Joshua lands a heavy right hand, a punctuation mark rather than an exclamation. The bell rings, and the fight ends not in chaos, but in resolution. No knockdowns, no dramatic collapse, just 12 rounds of a man proving he still belongs. As the fighters separate, a brief flash of tension sparks between them, emotions boiling after 12 hard rounds, but it's quickly contained. The O2 waits, hushed now, as the scorecards are collected. This isn't suspense about the winner. It's about what the result means. The announcer steps forward, voice echoing through the arena. 117-111, 117-111, 117-111, 117-111. Winner by unanimous decision, Anthony Joshua. The crowd erupts, not with wild disbelief, but with relieved approval. Joshua raises his arms, exhaling months of pressure in a single moment. This wasn't the explosive comeback some demanded, but it was something perhaps more important. A controlled, professional performance that steadied a career at a crossroads. Franklin earns respect for his toughness, his ambition, and his refusal to fold. But tonight belongs to Joshua. It's a victory that answers critics quietly, that reestablishes confidence without arrogance. For Anthony Joshua, this fight wasn't about reclaiming belts, it was about reclaiming belief. Belief in his skills, belief in his discipline, belief that his story isn't finished yet. As he leaves the ring, the narrative shifts. The heavyweight division still waits, dangerous and unforgiving. But Joshua has reminded the world, and himself, that he remains a force, a contender, a presence. Sometimes survival is the statement. Sometimes the comeback begins not with a knockout, but with a decision that keeps the future alive.